Next up, at UFC Vegas 41, we have the main event of the evening. We have Paulo Costa versus Marvin Vettori. Paulo Costa 4-1 in his last 5. Marvin Vettori 4-1 in his last 5. And the only one on these guys' records, they both lost to Israel Adesanya. It's an interesting fight with two top-tier middleweights coming off a loss to the champ. If we quickly talk about their fights with Israel, they were kind of similar. They were both frustrating striking matches. Paulo Costa did absolutely nothing in that fight. Nothing. He was gun shy. He wouldn't let his hands go, and he ultimately was stopped by Izzy. But Paulo Costa, who we know has power, who we know has pressure, used none of those things. Was very frustrating. Didn't show up. Did nothing. He blamed it on alcohol or food poisoning, alcohol poisoning. Had a bottle of wine. Some weird shit. But he did nothing in that fight against Izzy and lost a striking fight. Marvin Vettori worked, was busier than Paulo, but a similar fight where he lost a striking fight when he should have made it a grappling match. So he did have some takedowns. He did attempt to grapple, but he should have been relentlessly grappling nonstop. We saw Jan expose Izzy's grappling. We know Marvin can grapple. I have no idea why he didn't just lean, heavy on the grappling. So he was perfectly content striking. Either way, Paulo and Marvin both lost striking fights to the champion, who is the best striker in that division, maybe any division that we have right now. So they're coming off those losses, and it's tough to match them up. Not match them up. It's great to match them up against each other. It's tough to break down this fight when that's the last fight that they both had. They both showed up and didn't do what they were supposed to do, didn't do what they're good at. Paulo Costa is a massive human being. He has a ton of power, a ton of output, and a surprising amount of cardio for a guy with his body and his power and his size. He comes forward with heavy, fast punches. He has a relentless pace. On average, he lands 7 significant strikes per minute, which is double almost everybody else in the UFC. 7, which sounds like a low number, is a very high number when you compare that against everybody else in the UFC. We're usually seeing 3 or 4, and he's at 7. He also has a very good takedown defense at 80%, which he will need in this fight because Marvin Vettori, a very, very good grappler, and when he uses the grappling, he's incredibly dominant. He has a good set of diverse takedowns, from body locks to nice hit and run doubles. He will drop, hit the legs, cut the corner, run right through him. And as a wrestler myself, I absolutely love to see some of those running doubles from him. His striking continues to improve. He's gotten very comfortable on his feet. That's obviously a good thing, but it can also be a problem. He does have that false confidence standing at times, and he does get sucked into kickboxing matches. We talked about the one with Izzy, but he has had some success, like when he out kickboxed Andrew Sanchez. He had no takedowns in that fight and didn't need him, just lit Andrew Sanchez up on his feet and won that, giving him some confidence. It's very good to see. It's a nice skill to have, but you got to know what your bread and butter is. Marvin will need to grapple here, absolutely. And that is easier said than done. Matching up against Paulo's 80% takedown defense is Marvin's less than 50% takedown accuracy, which is surprising. When I saw that stat, I was surprised. I thought he was much more accurate. And keep in mind, that 50% includes the Kevin Holland fight, which he had like 11 takedowns. So that only helped the 50%. So Marvin Vettori, good grappler with really good takedowns, statistically speaking, gets less than half of his takedowns. He does average over 2 takedowns per fight, but he does struggle with keeping people there. So somebody who took Kevin Holland down 11 times was only 5 rounds, which means Kevin Holland kept standing back up. He does struggle keeping people down at times. Incredible chin, and he will need that against Paulo Costa, who has a ton of power. This is a tough pick. This is a really tough pick. This is one of the better main events that we've had in a while. Definitely one of the closer, tougher main events. I think Marvin has to be the pick because he has more ways to win. It's almost too obvious of a pick because he has more ways to win. Paulo can come charging forward with punches and bunches. Marvin could duck under for a nice double. But Paulo's takedown defense is good, and Marvin's willingness to stay on his feet is dangerous. So, man, it really is just such a tough pick. It is absolutely impossible. I have to assume, doing this breakdown, making this pick, I have to assume that Marvin Vettori is going to do what he's supposed to do, which is grapple. Maybe entertain the striking for a minute, let Paulo get comfortable, duck and shoot. When I first, so you guys can tell I read notes when I do this, right? There's a ton of information to keep in my head. And when I first did this and I did my tape study and made my pick, I actually had Paulo Costa. And then I was like, yeah, but Marvin can win with takedowns. And that's why I flipped the pick. But the reality is this is so razor thin. And the only reason while I'm looking at this graphic right now, and maybe it's because Paulo's jacked, I'm leaning towards Paulo Costa, but he only has one way to win. Where Marvin has more than one way to win. He's got a head like a cinder block. His striking's decent, but he's got a head like a cinder block and very good grappling. So I got to go with Marvin here. I don't know if I'm going to spend that money on DraftKings, but I might, because he's not that overpriced and there is a good amount of money here, or opportunity here for takedowns and control. And it is 5 rounds. But I'll tell you what I do love. I love the Paulo Costa wins inside the distance, decision, no action bet, because what that gets me, is if Paulo Costa knocks Marvin Vettori out, which is a very tall task, but we've seen it done with others. If Paulo Costa knocks out Marvin Vettori, I get paid. If Paulo Costa loses a ragdoll beating where he's just taken down over and over and over, it's okay. I get a refund. No skin. Hands are clean. I get a refund. Bet never happened. So I like that. That is probably my favorite thing to do on this fight is that bet. Instead of picking a side, I'm just going to say, well, Paulo Costa either wins by knockout or loses a decision. And that's what I'm going to stick with. So I have that wins inside a distance, decision, no action bet that I'm going to lay out there. wewantpicks.com/bets. You will find that at the Bet Online promo, 50% deposit match. Monkey knife fight. Realistically, this will probably be a more and more. I think they'll go at it. Could be a good 5-round fight. Marvin Vettori will get some takedowns. He'll get past that 118 because he does, he's a good grappler. He's a good ground and pound guy. He's not really looking for a ton of submissions. He is looking to pound away. So 5 rounds to do work. So more and more is probably it. 68 is it's a lot of opportunities for Paulo to take somebody's head off. But I do like the more and more here. I like Marvin Vettori to win. I do like some upside in Paulo Costa. So there's going to be people out there that are going to say, I'll put a little bit on Paulo Costa to win by knockout. But that's gone money if he loses a decision. That money's gone. So that's why I will take lesser odds. Instead of chasing plus 600, I'll get minus 110, but he can lose a decision all day and it's no big deal. If he wins by knockout, I'll get paid. And this is why every single week I'm up 2-3 units. And there's weeks where other people may be up 10 units, but most weeks they're down because they're chasing these flyers. I don't chase. I pick my spots. I like that spot. So we'll see what happens there. wewantpicks.com/bets for the promo. wewantpicks.com/MKF for that deposit match. Play all the things. We have an awesome run of pay-per-views heading our way. This is an awesome main event. We got a couple good fights on this card. Thanks for the watch. Like, subscribe, do all the things. Comment down below. Join the Discord. We have so much crap going on. Do all of it. And I'll see you guys at some point. You can see I'm on vacation. I got a lot going on. I don't know the video schedule this week, but I will see you guys at some point on Saturday.